65 years after the Korean War broke out on June 25th. Here rest the fallen soldiers who came from afar and fought for a people who they knew little of. During the Korean War, Busan became the last remaining free soil on the peninsula and the port where aid from countries around the world could enter. June 2015, Busan is home to the one and only cemetery dedicated to United Nations soldiers, the UN Memorial Cemetery in Korea. A memorial service commemorating the fallen UN soldiers of the Korean War is held.
한국 전쟁이 일어난 이듬해인 1951년에 이곳이 설립이 되었는데요. 그 이후로 많은 국가에서 그리고 많은 분들이 오셔서 다양한 참배 행사를 하고 있습니다.
이영만리 타국에서 자유와 평화를 지키기 위하여 이 땅에서 생을 마감하신
A moment of silence is observed in honor of those UN soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice.
While hoping that we may all learn not to repeat the mistakes of the past, to cultivate social responsibility, and to dedicate ourselves to ensuring peace in each corner of the world that we inhabit. Thank you. 감사합니다.
2,300 fallen soldiers from 11 countries rest in this cemetery. Veterans who fought in the war also came to remember and pay tribute to their fallen comrades.
맨날 생각이 나지. 우리가 전쟁하면서 곁에서 전우가 미국 사람이 또 영국 사람 참전한 사람들 죽어가는 걸 보기도 하고 먼저 돌아가신 분들을 추모하면서도 한쪽으로는 여러분들이 우리나라가 이렇게 됐겠냐 하는 걸 생각할 때 참 훌륭한 분들이다 이렇게 생각하죠.
The history of the UN Memorial Cemetery goes back to the year 1955. The National Assembly contributed the land to honor the sacrifices of UN soldiers. Since its establishment, the Commission for the UNMCK, consisting of 11 member nations, including Australia, New Zealand, and the Philippines, handles its affairs. Canada was also among the UN nations, with some 500 of its nationals dying in the war. Their descendants partook in the memorial ceremony.
It's a special opportunity to be able to come to a cemetery like this because it's so far from my home. And I'm able to see, where most of the Canadians who died in this war are buried. So it's very special, to be able to visit my own countrymen in a place so far from Canada,
Last May, French UN soldier Raymond Joseph Benard's remains were buried here, as per his request to be laid to rest in Korea, which he considered his second home.
참전 용사분들이나 유가족분들이 이렇게 사후에 안장을 해달라는 요청이 꽤 있었는데 협정에서 정한 안장 자격에 부합하지가 않아서 이루어지지가 않았었는데요. 인도주의적인 차원에서 긍정적으로 검토해달라는 이런 요청이 계속 있었기 때문에 지난 3월에 베나르 씨가 사망을 하자 저희 국제관리위원회에서 회의를 거쳐서 공식적으로 승인을 하게 되었습니다.
According to his family, Benard had so much love for Korea that he always kept the Korean flag even after the fighting in the war. His son, Roland Benard, witnessed his father's affection.
We are sure that he rests in peace. He's so happy. He's so happy to be there. And that will be a good opportunity for us to visit more and more after Korea. And also, he's not alone. He's not alone in your country because you have such a great respect for him and for the veterans. and for the dead people. You have I saw this. We saw this in the cemetery. We know that somebody stay with him every day. People are coming every day. That's nice, and he's happy. He's happy. We are sure of that. He's happy. So we must be happy too.
This year, the personnel from the USS Michigan nuclear submarine also paid tribute at the UNMCK. The look in the eyes of the sailors reflect a more serious and solemn emotion.
He was the first commander-in-chief of the UN forces in Korea, reversed the situation in South Korea's favor through the success of the Incheon landing operation on September 15, 1950.
In front of the memorial, the names of the 40,895 fallen soldiers are inscribed on a memorial wall.
Peace does not come free. It comes with sacrifice and dedication of people who are willing to risk their lives and sometimes give their lives to make sure that we can have continuing peace. And I think that's important for my young sailors to understand why they serve in the military and that there are risks involved, and for their families to understand that as well, that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves, and we choose to make that sacrifice so that we can continue to have peace, not just at home but all around the world. And that's something that I have chosen to dedicate my professional career to over the last 30 years, and I'm very happy to have done that.
The United Nations Peace Memorial Hall is the first of its kind. Established for the first time last year, it revisits the iconic value of the UNMCK. Plans to make this an international tourist destination were also discussed.
앞으로는 이제 이게 우리가 실시 설계를 지금 하고 있는데 아마 9월 달에 끝이 날 겁니다. 추진하게 되면은 명실공히 이 지역 자체가 우리 내국인뿐만 아니고 우리 참전했던 외국인들, 그런 분들 가족, 또 유족들이 이런 곳을 좀 방문해서 또 그런 역사 인식을 좀 갖고, 또 우리 젊은 세대들한테도 우리 6.25 전쟁을 되새기는 또 그런 기회도 가질 수 있도록 우리 멋지게 한번 만들어서 최선을 다해서 우리 평화공원을 만들어 나가겠습니다.
2015. There are still many who fled the UNMCK in remembrance of the fallen UN soldiers and the veterans.
이렇게 많은 분들의 희생이 있었기 때문에 오늘날 우리가 자유와 평화를 누릴 수 있는 건데 너무 그 점을 잊고 살았던 것 같아서 반성이 되고 또 더 큰 책임감을 가지고 근무할 수 있는 좋은 값진 시간이었습니다.
대한민국을 위해서 멀리서 이렇게 와셔가지고 참전을 해주시고 꽃다운 나이에 돌아가신 이 유엔 참전 용사들을 감사하고 영원히 안민하시도록 그 명복을 빌겠습니다.
The UN Memorial Cemetery in Busan established itself as a sacred place of humanity. In it rests the fallen soldiers who came from afar to a country they did not know. This generation must not forget the sacrifices of the soldiers who gave their lives in a country they were not from, all in the name of freedom.